All right, folks. Good evening. Sorry for a little bit of less than ideal backlighting. As you can see, the sun is going down, and my back is facing east. So I'm down here at the Kentucky Sustainable Living Festival. It's going to kick off tomorrow morning. Those of us who are vending and speaking are coming in tonight, getting our tables set up. And it's looking to be a really nice event. So if you are still inclined to do something really cool with your weekend, this is in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Tickets are still available. You can buy them at the doors. I believe they're $35 a piece, which is a heck of a deal for all the speakers who are going to be here. That's going to be at KentuckySustainableLiving.com. And come on out and hang out with us. Off-Grid Ping, sir, thank you for popping in. Let me know if my volume is okay, because I'm on a brand new computer and I haven't even had a chance to test it yet. I literally just got it like a couple of days ago. So let's see. I'm going to apologize in advance because I'm a little bit tired, a little bit scattered, and a little bit off my game for reasons that will become apparent here in a little bit. I kind of just did my notes in the last couple of minutes, but I am going to get you guys caught up. So early last week, I went to fire up my computer, my old one, to get some work done, and it was dead. Not really sure what happened. Talked to my techie friends, and it seems to have decided that the hard drive no longer existed. It was just giving me the boot menu, and that was that. So, okay, volume is good. Thank you so much. And I didn't have a ton of time to try to really diagnose it, so I just dropped money on a new laptop, and hopefully I'll get more than 2 years out of this one. So isn't it crazy how just something like that breaking can kind of muck up everything? I had so many notes to do for customers. I had so much stuff that had to be done on a computer, and everything just had to wait. So it kind of set my whole week back. And I've kind of spent the whole week being a little bit scattered and out of sorts while also trying to get ready to go out of town. So it happens. Just going to press forth and move right along. So let me hit you with some what I've got coming up that you may want to participate in. I've got literal foraging classes coming out of my ears. So the one that is I'm doing on my farm, my property in West Knox County in Tennessee, is going to be on March 30th. We'll do that from about noon to 3, and just email me, strongrootsresources@gmail.com, if you would like to come out to attend. At last check, I've got 7 people on the roster, so I can easily fit about 3 or 4 more. So let me know if you'd like to come. We're just going to this is going to be just kind of a casual, slow and easy walk around the farm. And we're going to pick out all the stuff that's coming out right now and talk about what it's good for in terms of calorically and medicine and other useful things. The Camden class, the one that takes place after Self-Reliance Festival on April 8th, Monday, April 8th. We've still got some room in that one. So that's actually, you can email me, but I'm just going to direct you to the Self-Reliance Festival website. Under events, you should be able to find a link to sign up for that class. This one's going to be much more in-depth. It's going to be about 4 hours long. We're going to go from about 9 to 1 o'clock. And we are going to get more in depth about, identification and use, but I'm going to be documenting. I'm going to do this in advance, but you will receive an email document that shows everything that we discovered, and it will include links to like what its uses are, cautions, things like that. You're going to get more follow-up detail, and you will also have the opportunity to continue to confer with me via email or phone call as part of that class. So I'm going to make sure everybody really gets their value out of that. And third, I am going to be doing a foraging webinar. So this is going to be more of like a kind of a slideshow thing through the Living Free in Tennessee website. So I'm going to put this on. It'll be live, but it'll also be recorded. So you can go back and you can buy it later. That is part of Nicole Sauce's membership system for Living Free in Tennessee. So go to her website. You can sign up for that, become a member, and then you get that. That webinar is included if you pick the membership tier. Jamie, that is going to be the Monday after Self-Reliance. So that's going to be April 8th. And that's actually the same day as the eclipse. So for people who think that's cool, we should be able to see a little bit of it. I don't actually know exactly what time that's supposed to be. So we'll figure it out when we get there. Guys, I am doing good to remember how to put my shoes on right now. This happens every spring, and I really tried not to let it happen this year, but it's just like I'm suddenly overwhelmed. And I think it's just the nature of what I do. You know, nature wakes up and my phone blows up and my email blows up, and I don't want to say no to people. And all I can say is I'm really glad that I decided to drop the property maintenance stuff last year, because I simply could not have fit it in between what I'm teaching. And I'm happy about this. This is most certainly not a complaint. Between what I'm teaching and then the additional design work that I've added on, and my new, new clients that I'm consulting with on their property, I feel a little bit stretched. So I'll get more into that in a little bit. So April 8th, and I will throw it into the notes here. This is foraging at this is at the Special Operations Equipment campus, so it's the same location that the Self-Reliance Festival is held at. So Jamie, not far from you at all. Pinky's Garden is checking in. Thank you so much for swinging by, and I had a great time catching up with you a couple of weeks ago when you were up at the farm. I think I'm going to go ahead and get the crappy news out of the way. I only mentioned this in the Telegram group so far. The Telegram group, email me if you'd like to join us over there. It's a discussion group, kind of all about land study, foraging, homesteading, plant identification, whatever we off-grid stuff, whatever we find interesting. So last night or sometime early this morning, Primrose, our guardian donkey, gave birth, but unfortunately I found a dead foal this morning. What appears has happened is that the foal was born with the amniotic sac still intact. That should not happen, and that's actually pretty rare from what I've been able to gather. I couldn't even find very many cases describing it happening, but the foal was born, the sac did not tear, and subsequently, that means the foal suffocated. That's assuming it was actually alive when it was born. I don't really have any way of knowing that it wasn't a stillbirth to begin with. When we got Prim, for those who don't know, we didn't really know anything about her. My sheep mentor, Marcy, was a lady who got Prim as a guardian donkey, along with another donkey that is still on her property. And we really didn't know how old she was. It was kind of one of those things where when she started communicating with the people that she got her from, what was told to her was apparently not exactly factual when she actually showed up. But they had driven all this way, and Marcy said, just let's get the two donkeys and we'll go on our way. So we don't know how old Prim is. She got a vet check and was quarantined at Marcy's place before she came out to our place, and she seems healthy otherwise. Although I should say she's healthy now. She was very skinny when we first got her. I could post some pictures of before and after. Since she's been on pasture, she's looking really good. Her eyes cleared up. She had like respiratory troubles, all that cleared up. She put on weight. Her weight looks good. And when we got her, Marcy said, there's a chance that she's pregnant, that she had been, around a male. But we didn't really know how pregnant. But it became obvious, she filled out and her, she looked pregnant. And so we were just kind of been on baby watch these last couple of weeks because she was starting to show more sign. And but for whatever reason, I found a dead foal this morning, and that was pretty awful. It really was awful. Because for all the obvious reasons, we were really looking forward to having this little one. My brother and his girlfriend and her daughter have gotten really into hanging out with the sheep and hanging out with Prim, and they come up and they pet her and bring her carrots and apples and brush her coat and everything, and they've really bonded with her, and so it was hard to relay that information to my brother, so he could relay it the way he needed to his portion of the family. From what I could gather after talking to Marcy and everything, I don't think there was anything to have been done. I mean, when I discovered it, I did, I immediately opened up the sack and, rubbed on. I tried to see maybe if it had just happened, perhaps it could be revived, but the foal was cold and, his pupils are dilated. And unfortunately, I've seen a lot of death in my life, and I know what dead looks like. And that was the case. So, it just happened, and it sucks. And, I got pretty tore up about it and pretty teary eyed, told Tyler about it, and he went and, dug a hole for me, which was very kind. And, we buried it, and, I've been keeping check on Prim, and she's pretty, she's confused. She's been calling in a lot. We'll have to monitor her and make sure that that her milk dries up and she doesn't have complications from having milk and nothing to nurse. We'll just kind of have to watch out for any other complications. Apparently that's also uncommon, but this whole thing was pretty uncommon. So, that was just one of those harder days on the farm that have to be dealt with. And it's just, there's such a dichotomy sometimes when you decide to raise animals, because just last evening, Angel and I were sitting on the back porch or on the front porch as the sun was going down. I had just moved everybody to a new paddock, put them on fresh grass, and man, everybody was happy. All the lambs were just zipping around like crazy, having a big old time, kicking up their legs. I mean, we were laughing really, really hard watching those lambs. And it's just, this is just how it goes. It's just part of it. And I'm trying to make sure I didn't do anything wrong. I don't think I did. It's, it's really awful when you lose an animal, and it's worse if you think that you have screwed up along the way and it's, you're partially at fault. But as far as I can tell, this was just one of those kind of random things. I will try to figure out more as to what causes that. If we know, if there's anything that could be done, if it's, if it's a diet related issue, if she's unhealthy in some other way. Marcy told me in 40 years of farming, she's only seen that happen one time. She saw it happen with a calf, and she just happened to be in the field when it happened, and she was able to open up that amniotic sac so the calf could breathe. So, and, it's just not practical. You can't sit out there with the animals 24/7. And the whole object of all of this is that these animals are, pretty self-sufficient, and I have my role and they have theirs. So, it's been a real downer, and I'm going to try not to let it bug me too much, but, I'm kind of a softie, really. It was one of the reasons why I decided to get out of healthcare, because I was such a softie that I found myself trying to suppress stuff too much when I dealt with difficult situations, and that's not healthy either. So I can say that, there have been times when an animal has died on me. In this case, it was, first time I had to deal with a sick chicken and euthanize a sick chicken, that I almost just wanted to quit. It was so difficult. I just wanted to quit. And I don't have that inclination now, not even a little bit. So I think that means I'm growing and adapting, and at no time do I expect to not feel, difficult emotions when an animal dies. But, when it's a baby and you got all these people in the family looking forward to it, that's pretty difficult. Naturally, I'm going to get rained on now, but I think the Jeep hatch will keep me covered for a little bit. So that's crappy news. And I'm not really going to dwell on it. I did email a lady who was up at one of my gatherings, who was at the farm gathering in early March, and she is a vet tech and is pretty knowledgeable on livestock as well. So I emailed her with the details of what I knew and what happened, just to get her thoughts on it, just to see if there's anything that I need to address and watch for specifically with Primrose. Not really sure what donkey morning looks like. I did leave it with her for a little bit, kind of dried it off with a towel, let her kind of lick on it and nudge it. And, she was clearly distressed and confused. But then after about a half hour, we buried it. And there's, in the reading that I was able to find, there's some people that say that that's, it's better to let them experience the death and try to, in their way, understand that their offspring is dead. But I also didn't want to leave it too long because, you don't want to attract predators with all these babies around. So I hope I did the right thing. And if anybody happens to know anything, help educate me on that, I would appreciate it. And if you've got anything unkind to say, you can just keep your mouth shut, although I don't really expect that. I tend to deal with some pretty good natured people in this way. So crappy news is out of the way. And I'll just look after Prim, and we will probably try to do more research before we consider breeding her at this point. So say some good thoughts and prayers for Primrose. I know she's just a donkey, but I really, really like this donkey. Anyhow, the rest of the week, like I said, it's been a little bit bonkers, but we did get a lot of good stuff checked off the list. On Wednesday, my friend Aaron came out and we transplanted all of the wildflowers that we have started that I've had in the greenhouse for her wedding. We've got them in the ground down just below Mama's. My brother tilled up a plot, one of the very rare times that we till, but it's not going to be tilled again. We're just going to plant these flowers, and when they're harvested, because it'll be harvested right before May 1st, since that's her wedding date, I'm going to throw in a bunch of watermelon and pumpkins and squash and things in that same plot, dress it with a whole bunch of mulch, and then cover crop it once we harvest all that stuff. Probably throw some wildflower seeds and clover and stuff in there for Mom to enjoy. So I also put up the electronetting that I've kept around for the birds. Threw the charger on it with the hopes that it will keep the deer and rabbits out. So we'll see. I really hope so. That would suck. But Aaron knows that we're kind of taking a chance on this whole thing. This whole thing's a little bit of an experiment to see if we can get any kind of flowers for a few table arrangements, and hopefully her bouquet. I was out on a site visit yesterday for a customer who I began consulting with last fall. We had decided that they needed a whole lot of earthworks done before we could plan much more. Those earthworks are underway, and we are now moving to the next stage of preparing the food forest installation. This is going to be one of my bigger projects in terms of actual installation and number of plants and things like that. So I got a bunch of photos, went over things with the customer, made sure we were on the same page with her vision. And aside from just a couple of details relating to some spots closer to the road, she pretty much said, you do your thing. You pick out what does best. You pick out how to arrange it, and we'll rock and roll, which that's kind of my favorite thing to do. So be pulling together the details on that over the next few weeks. One thing that I do need to take into account, because all this earth has just been disturbed and the topsoil is pretty much wrecked, we got to do some rapid fire soil rebuilding and plenty of direct amending of everything that'll be planted. I'm actually out here with William Bond from he's the permaculture consultant on YouTube, Billy Bond's son, and I'm gonna find a moment to talk to this fella and get his thoughts as well about how we can rebuild this soil, and if it even makes sense to plant this spring, or if we should wait until fall and winter, because I want to do what's right for the site, what's right for the customer. This would, yeah, I want to say this would be the first time I'm trying to design a space where I'm actually planting a space that has been recently disturbed. I've helped design them, and I've told them how to mend the soil first, but I don't want to spend a bunch of this lady's money and it not turn out right. So we're going to make sure we get that squared away appropriately and think through all the steps. What else we got here? Things in the greenhouse are really popping up. I've got all kinds of peppers coming up in their little 6-packs. All kinds of herbs, cilantro's up, basil's up, parsley, things like that. I've direct seeded a whole bunch of peas all over the garden. They're coming up. Sowed a whole bunch of root vegetables as well, kind of in between the other fall plantings. A lot of this fall stuff is just that I put in the winter. All those tree plants I got, they're just starting to bolt, which is fine. I'm going to collect seed. I'll let part of them bolt, collect seed. Others I'll pull up to get space to plant the warmer stuff when it's time, and I'll just feed all that to the sheep and to Prim, because they'll like it. It's just all kinds of cabbages and brassicas and things, and they'll think it's great. So everybody wins. I had a cover crop over the winter time, and some of it I'll just cut off and let rot and let it feed the soil and let it let the earthworms do their thing. Some of it will get fed to the earthworm cooler that they live in. So it'll all come together nicely. And we got Digger popping in. Howdy, Digger. Thank you for coming by and checking in. As I'm sure you guys know, I bet anytime you try to go out of town, everything happens at once. So naturally, I'm awaiting a rather large shipment of bare root trees from Nick Ferguson with Rare Plant Store. I picked up one of the bigger packages of the fodder trees, and I spoke with my brother last night about how I want to plant them. I've got the site picked out, but I would like to have the swales dug. So we're going to try to find a way to squeeze that in at the first of the week. And if the trees show up while I'm in Kentucky, Angel's got instructions on how to look after them until I can get back. Hopefully they're still, pretty dormant and not, I just checked the tracking and it sounds like they're being held up by USPS. So I'm sure Nick packed them in such a way that they're not going to dry out if they get held up for an extra day or two. But that's post office for you. They never, nothing ever shows up when they say it's going to. So, hey, Pippin, good to see you. Pippin, are you going to be able to make it to Self-Reliance? Y'all let me know if you're going to be at Self-Reliance or at Toolman Tim's, because I'll be there. I'll be coming in Thursday before to do my prep work for the foraging walk. And then, of course, I'll be there for the weekend and then on Monday. So it'll be good to catch up with you guys if you're able to make it. I'm going to pause here to wet my gullet. Gosh, y'all, that's everything that I had on the let's try talking here, that I had on my list. Getting the trees ready, getting the plants ready. Off-Grid Ping wants to know, how long can bare root seedling trees? Yeah, as long as they stay wet. So yeah, as long as you just can't let the roots dry out. So a lot of times what I'll do, if I am like digging trees that I'm going to transplant or sell to somebody, I dig them at the last possible minute. And then I usually soak them in buckets of water. I'll do that if I'm going to ship them or if I'm going to transport them, for a day or so. And as that's kind of the main thing, as long as the roots don't dry out. So a lot of times if you order trees from like a big nursery, they'll pack the roots in this kind of like gelatinous stuff. I forget what it's called. And then there's actually there's a product called Tree Saver, and you can do it's basically the same stuff, and you add that to your planting hole before you plant the tree, and it absorbs water and it expands, and it basically retains water a little bit longer, and it allows the tree to take up more moisture as it's beginning to kind of reestablish its roots. Off Grid Ping's going to be doing a chainsaw demo at SRF. Awesome. I've shown a few folks how to run a saw, and man, that's a skill that I, I'm not going to say I learned the hard way, but I sure did learn what not to do real quick. When I first began running a chainsaw as a young adult, because I never really messed one as a kid, I have a healthy enough respect for the machine, and I also made sure to never use it if I was tired or if I got too hot or too frustrated. And I found that I have about an hour of running a saw before I just can't do it anymore, between the vibration, the noise, and I wear protection, all that stuff, and wear chaps and everything. But about an hour max, and then I just have to stop for a while. I start to wear out, my back starts to get tired, and running a saw when you're tired is a bad idea. So that'll be a great thing to contribute there, Jamie, because it's a heck of a thing to learn how to do, and it only takes a moment, just an instant of not paying attention or doing something dumb with it, and you can change your life forever. So I'm glad you're making that contribution. Oh, let's see. Like I said, come on out to Kentucky if you're not up to anything else this weekend. It's about 3.5 hours from Knoxville. If you're close to Nashville, it's just due north. It's really pretty easy to get to. This is like a agricultural arena, like good old dirt floor where they come in, they do horse shows and stuff like that. So it's pretty neat. And there are, we've got food trucks that are be coming in. Grumpy Acres is going to be here. Nicole's going to be here. Toolman Tim's going to be here. It's going to be a really nice time. So I'm working on perking myself up and kind of getting out of my funk to enjoy myself. And I think that's the plan. So thank you guys for stopping by. A little bit of a shorter one today, but that's what I had ready to share. So if you guys need anything, or if I can help you with plant stuff, foraging stuff, design work, homestead work, you know how to find me. And in the meantime, we will catch you after a while. Good night, everybody.